Welcome to Speak English Podcast with your host, Georgiana, the podcast that will help you to speak English fluently with no grammar and no textbooks.
Hi everyone, I am Georgiana, your English teacher and founder of SpeakEnglishPodcast.com. My mission is to help you to speak English fluently. Today, in this episode, we're going to be a bit scared. Well, not really. We're going to listen to some super short, scary stories. Each story is one sentence, more or less. In the second part, we're going to listen to a point of view story to learn grammar in context without memorizing any boring rules. You can get the transcript for this episode on my website, SpeakEnglishPodcast.com. How was your day? A lot is going on today. Some good, some okay, and some bad. Today, I'd like to talk about fear. Well, I'm not going to get serious about it because we already have plenty of real scary stories in the news. I will actually talk about some scary stories that can be told in a few words. Here's an example. We have to talk. Indeed, the expression "we have to talk" can trigger all kinds of emotions, including fear, especially if your couple says it. But that's another story. Let's look at the first one. There's a party tonight, and the whole family is going to be here. Well, here's a typical case of family-induced panic. While it's usually a good thing to get together with family, it can be terrifying for some. And if you don't believe me, we've all heard stories about families at Christmas. Okay, let's continue with another super short, scary story. We know who you are and where you live. Yes, it can be scary. Imagine you get a phone call from a hidden number. They tell you this and hang up. Or maybe you receive a note with just that phrase. How would you react if you received this kind of message? Well, let's look at another super short, scary story. Know where we come from and where we're going. Well, this one can be terrifying, especially if you're on the wrong bus or you're going to the wrong place. Although I understand that this phrase has a more transcendent dimension, the truth is that it gives food for thought. To give somebody food for thought means to make them think seriously about something. Okay, let's see the next one. I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. I must confess that I've heard this phrase before. And whenever I listen to someone say this, it makes me panic. Because usually this so-called offer hides a lot of things they don't want you to know. It is the typical phrase you hear when someone wants to sell you something over the phone. And many times they are too pushy. They insist too much. Okay, another super short, scary story. Open your mouth, please. Well, I don't know what to say. I guess the context is when you're at the dentist. Certainly, for many people, going to the dentist is something they don't look forward to at all. almost terrifying. Come on, another one. It's Sunday, and someone is calling you from the office. Yes, this one is scary too. Imagine you're resting on a Sunday after a hard week at the office, and your cell phone rings. You look to see who's calling, and it's from the office. Weird, right? I wouldn't want to pick up the phone, would you? Well, we've heard some of these super short, scary stories, which actually are even funny. I hope you like them. By the way, if you want to know how to speak English using the right techniques, visit speakenglishpodcast.com and subscribe to my mailing list. I will send you my 5 golden rules to speak English fluently. Do you know how you can help me? You can share the podcast with your friends and family. Tell them to go to speakenglishpodcast.com and get my free mini course. That would mean a lot to me. Thanks. Let's move on to the next section. Okay, let's practice some grammar with the point of view technique. You will learn grammar in context without boring exercises or memorizing rules. I will tell you a short story more than one time. Every time, I'll change a grammar point. You just need to listen and recognize the changes. In a faraway country lived a young man named Tom, but everyone called him Fearless Tom. The reason was that Tom wasn't afraid of anything. He complained that he didn't even know what it was like to tremble. In the kingdom where he lived, the king had a very beautiful daughter. That king had promised that whoever could spend 3 nights in an enchanted castle could marry his daughter. Tom did not hesitate and went to spend 3 nights in that castle. After facing all kinds of creatures that didn't frighten him, he even made friends with some of them. He was able to marry the princess. So the couple celebrated a wedding in style. Once they were married, Tom walked into the bedroom one day and saw his wife all green in the face. Tom got so scared that he started screaming and ran out. What Tom didn't know was that his wife had put on an avocado face mask. At least Tom experienced what real fear was like. Let's listen one more time in the present tense. In a faraway country lives a young man named Tom, but everyone calls him Fearless Tom. The reason is that Tom isn't afraid of anything. He complains that he doesn't even know what it's like to shiver. In the kingdom where Tom lives, the king has a very beautiful daughter. That king has promised that whoever can spend 3 nights in an enchanted castle will be able to marry his daughter. Tom does not hesitate and goes to spend 3 nights in that castle. After facing all kinds of creatures that don't scare him at all, he even befriends some of them. Consequently, he's able to marry the princess. So the couple celebrates a wedding in style. Already married, Tom walks into the room one day and sees his wife all green in the face. Tom gets so scared that he starts screaming and runs out. What Tom doesn't know is that his wife has put on an avocado face mask. At least, Tom gets to experience what real fear is like. Okay, it's the end of this short lesson. As you can see, just by changing a point of view of the story, you can learn grammar intuitively. This is one of the techniques that I use in my premium courses. I recommend that you take a look at speakenglishpodcast.com/courses. Okay, it's the end of this episode. Remember to listen to it several times. It will help you with your English. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Did you enjoy today's episode? Get the transcript now at speakenglishpodcast.com.